Hello and welcome back to Radiant Dawn 0% Growths. We are on Chapter 2 Endgame. Last chapter, the MVP was Marsha, who I'm pretty sure got 4 kills, 1 in every turn except turn 3, which I may have been 1 more than Danved, may not have been, I'm not really sure. This chapter we've got... We're bringing the whole gang together except for the Royal Knights. Although Marsha will show up turn 1 and the other ones show up later on. We've also got Khalil for the first time. Similar story with her as with the Royal Knights, including the fact that she joins them in part 3 for 3-9. But low availability and... her stats just, like, aren't doing enough to make her especially valuable. 18 speed, we talked kind of about that with Makalov, like, that's not doubling anything. And as a mage, she suffers the same thing that all mages do in this game, which is just poor damage output due to absurdly high enemy resistance. She does come with a Meteor Tome, so she can do some stuff with that, which is not to be dismissed. And then she, like Danved, she can go up ledges, both in this chapter and in 3-9, and like attack down ledge and, do some stuff like that. But overall, she's definitely not nearly as good as she is in Path of Radiance. Even though... she really wants to be able to heal in Path of Radiance, and she can't, and now she can, but now it doesn't matter that she can, so it's all, that part's all very sad. But yeah, definitely a big step back from Path of Radiance. Other than that, we've got the Amidi on Alencia, so that's really nice. Gives her a little bit of extra durability, more importantly, gives her a lot of extra damage. And I gave Har the Speed Wing. So that's going to allow him to double the boss in this chapter and some other enemies that he wouldn't otherwise have doubled. More generally, obviously, just making him faster is going to allow him to double more enemies in general going forward. I do think there's an argument to be made that that in 0% growths that he should not get the speed wing. Like in a growths playthrough, he definitely should. Like there's not really any question about it. But I think there's an argument to be made that like he's gonna still struggle to hit speed benchmarks like rather quickly. We'll see how that plays out. But I tend to think it's going to be worth it. We don't really need to hoard stat boosters for endgame in this game the way we do in some other games because the Royal Lagoos are so powerful at base level. So I think it makes sense. Alright, onward. So, here we are on Alencia's Gambit. And it is, of course, a defense map that you can end early by killing Ludwig, the boss. This is a chapter that I think is a lot of fun to play, where you actually play it like a defense chapter rather than trying to kill Ludwig as quickly as possible. But I have heard criticism that, the map can be trivialized by just killing Ludwig on turn 1 with Har. Well, I'm here to tell you that in 0% growth, that is not possible. Har would need 3 more strength to do it, and the reason for this is there are enemies surrounding Ludwig, so he can't attack him with the hammer on turn 1. Ludwig has a ranged weapon, so he won't be able to kill him with the hammer on enemy phase. And the way that the clear is normally done is you have the short axe here, Har attacks him, double attacks with the short axe from here, and then to take away like about half of his HP, and then on enemy phase Ludwig attacks into that and dies. But Har doesn't actually deal enough damage at base level to do this, and that's true even with transfers. So my Har, who doesn't have transfers, does 9 damage per hit with the short axe. if you have a strength transfer and so 2 extra strength from that, and you level up strength once in 2P, then you can get 3 extra strength, and you can do 12 damage per hit, and you can kill him on turn 1. But even if I had the strength transfer, which I don't, that would not be possible for me to do. So the chapter gets a little more interesting because we have to do it in 2 turns, and that introduces some extra complexities. And one of those is that there's this guy over here with an energy drop. If Har, even just the strength transfer would be enough to make Har one round this guy with the short axe, but he doesn't. He does easily one round with the hammer, and so if you put Har in this guy's range, he will kill him like with the hammer, assuming that he doesn't get surrounded by other enemies that he doesn't kill. But due to the fact that we also want to get this Draco shield, we don't actually want to put Har quite so far forward because we need a different setup than we would need if we wanted to maximize how far Har was moving, and that means that Har won't actually be in this guy's range on enemy phase. So next turn, we're going to need to kill this guy. We're going to need to drop Heather off, chant for her, and steal the Draco shield, and we're going to need to kill Ludwig. So it's actually a pretty interesting solution, in my opinion. So, yeah. I think that's all that I need to talk about before starting the chapters, so let's go. And Marcia's going to show up. And that's good, because we need her to actually be the one to drop off Heather. So the first thing we're going to do is have Laith shove Heather forward. That allows Heather to run around the corner past this guy, which means Marcia can rescue her without doubling back. However, we're not going to put Marcia here, because if we do, some enemy will come and attack her up the ledge. And there's going to be... So this guy moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's going to be other enemies like in this column. So there's an enemy in this column, there's an enemy in this column. We really need this column to be clear so that Marcia can fly straight down and drop off Heather next turn. Which means we really can't afford to have some enemy standing here attacking Marcia. So that's why we don't advance her that extra tile. Alright, next up, we're going to have Har come up and take this guy out. So Alencia is actually in range to take that guy out by flying up to here. We are going to chant for Alencia, though we're going to do it from here, and we're going to direct the yellow units to halt as well. And we could chant for Alencia there. The reason that we're not going to do that is because we want to take out that guy that we just killed, and we also want to take out this guy. If we chant for Alencia here, then we can have Alencia take out this archer and Har take out that guy. If we did it the other way around and had Alencia take out this guy and Har take out the archer and then Canto to here. Well, no, he doesn't Canto to here. That's actually the problem. Har can't Canto to here because this, let's see, he starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he has to attack this guy from range to be able to get chanted by Leanne. And that risks him taking damage. And while it's unlikely he can die during enemy phase here, so not taking that extra, or not risking taking that extra damage from this archer is valuable. Okay, so now we're going to chant Leanne, and we're going to move Leanne down here, which might seem a little bit of like an odd position, given that we ultimately are going to be dropping Heather somewhere over here and chanting for her next turn. But the reason for that is that if we leave Leanne up in this area, where she's safe from enemy attacks, she can't reach this area. Like, there's absolutely no way for her to do it, because even from this row, she can only go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to this row. She can't chant from this row. She cannot be shoved or smote down elevation from here to here. So she needs to be somewhere at this elevation. And even though this is like way up in the corner, we can use a bunch of shoves to get her into position next turn. And having her, off in the corner here means we can protect her by having Alencia take out this guy, and then occupy this choke point here. I should also mention why I told the yellow units to halt. I mean, it's not... like, there's no reason not to tell them to halt, except maybe that, like, you might want this guy to fire his bolting tome. Or I suppose this guy to use his physics staff. I forget how much range he even has on that, if it could be relevant. But the reason is because if these guys will move towards the stairs, and for some reason them doing that causes this guy to end up blocking Marcia by, like, ending up in this column. Whereas if they stay put, then he doesn't end up there. And I don't really know why, but it's important. Okay, so now now we get to a sort of fork in the clear, I guess, where we're gonna have Har fly down here and take this guy out. And there's two ways he can do that. He can use the short axe, which sets him up to maximize his damage output against ranged enemies on enemy phase. Or, if we're afraid that we're going to miss with the short axe, and the true hit on this, as opposed to the displayed hit, is like 89.6, so it's pretty likely that he hits. But if we are worried about that, we can instead use the steel axe. The thing about using the steel axe, though, is even though it's more reliable for him to take out this guy this turn with the steel axe, the clear is actually less reliable because next turn, if we use the steel axe here, next turn Har has to kill Ludwig while most likely being in range to be killed on a counterattack. Because Ludwig will take no damage and Har will have to double him with a hammer, and we'll have to avoid getting hit with Ludwig's counterattack after his first attack because he doesn't one-shot him with the hammer. Whereas, if Har has the short axe equipped, he will counterattack Ludwig, deal damage, and put him into range for Alencia to have a guaranteed kill against him. Alencia can one round kill Ludwig herself from full HP, but only if she activates stun. Actually, I'm not 100% sure she doesn't have to activate it multiple times. But whatever. The point is we don't want to rely on that either. So that's our choice. Now, the thing is, I've played this chapter... or I've tried to play this chapter several times in a row, and every time that I've been recording, Har has missed. And not always in the same position to where I'd say, like, oh, their RNG is, like, set, and I'm just hitting the same roll over and over. Like, sometimes he misses the first attack, sometimes he misses the second attack. He should be about 1 in 5 to miss either attack, or in other words, 4 in 5 to kill the guy. But for whatever reason, he keeps doing that. So I am going to quickly create a save state. We're going to try to kill the guy with the short axe. Okay, we got it. Yeah, almost every time I create a save state, it ends up being unnecessary. But maybe that's, you know, just karma for you or something. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, if it does work with the steel axe, it's just like I said, it's less reliable overall. All right, so now that we've done that, we're just gonna move everybody else up. Neolucci to here, Nephany to here, Mordecai to here, Khalil to here, and, well, Brahm isn't going to go anywhere. I don't think I talked about... Oh, I didn't talk about that either. There's a bunch of things I need to talk about, and the enemies move a little too fast for me to talk about all of them at once, so I'll wait until the turn is over. But this is the most notable one right there. That guy chooses to shoot the wall instead of one-shotting Alencia, which he very much could do. And that is absolutely key to the whole thing. Because... not needing to kill that guy means that we don't have to, like, go over there at all. Which is what how I was trying to clear the chapter before when I just assumed that the guy would kill Valencia. But fortunately, he does not. And then that healer doesn't heal Ludwig either, which is very considerate of him. Alright, I think at this point, R is already guaranteed to survive because he dodged. Okay, now yeah, he's gonna survive. Oh, I guess I didn't mention the other thing is that Thunder Mage doesn't move, which is one of the reasons I put Har where I did. I don't think I really talked about that. There's a lot of things to talk about here. There's like a ton of like micro decisions that really play a big role in how all this turns out. So, where to even start with this? Yeah, let's talk about this guy. So yeah, this guy doesn't move. So we put Har in range at the max of Ludwig's range because we want to lure Ludwig out and we want to get some damage on him so that Valencia can kill him. And for whatever reason, this guy doesn't move. He would easily be able to kill Har. Let me demonstrate that. If he hit him. Yeah, like, he does a ton of damage because of the effectiveness. But yeah, so we keep him out of range. We could have put Har here or here and accomplished the same objective. If we put Har here, he's fairly likely to end up surrounded, and that increases the odds that we have to kill too many enemies to be able to do everything that we need to do. Because basically, we have very few like actions available this turn. We need Har to kill, well, one of Har or Valencia to kill this guy. Probably we need it to be Har because, well, we want it to be Har so that we don't... Actually, Har could one-shot Ludwig at this point. What? Maybe it doesn't even matter. The point is, we need to move Valencia before we chant with Leanne because we need to shove Leanne through where Valencia is. Which means, that... what does that mean? I forget. Let me... the point is we have... I guess the point is that we can't chant for Har. That's the point, right? We cannot chant for Har because we need to move. We need to move Valencia and then chant. So we can't like, and we need to chant for Heather. So we can't like move Har, or drop Heather, chant for them, have Har do a second thing, and then move Valencia. That's not allowed. So we have to move Valencia and then chant her. So it's not so much that Har needs to kill Ludwig or this guy, or like one of the other of those two, as that Valencia is the one who's going to take two actions. Anyway, so between the two of them, they need to kill this guy, and they need to kill Ludwig, and they can do, well, Valencia can do one other thing. And that thing is going to be to make space for Leanne to chant for both Valencia and Heather. Because, like, from here, Valencia can't reach Ludwig, but if we come down here, then she can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and come around and reach Ludwig. By killing this guy. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Right here. Then we can go here, and then we can drop Heather off. And then we can go ahead and start setting up the shoves. One other thing I didn't mention, Mordecai coming up here pulls this guy across to here. And that is actually, like, really important, too. So we're gonna do our shoves, and I can show that off. So we do that, we do that, we do this, and we're still one spot short, so we do this. So we need that guy not only to not, like, be here, like, so that he isn't blocking, but we need him to not be here because we need Nephany there. So we need, like, Mordecai being here and pulling this guy all the way over is actually super important too. Alright. So now we can chant for these two. What else should I mention before I finish this out? I'm gonna go ahead and steal the Draco shield. Yeah, I mentioned this guy really wants to attack the gap instead of killing Alencia. I guess I didn't actually show off, like, how likely she is to die, but it's likely. Like, she just dies. So, that was super surprising to me, but, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one, as they say. I guess another thing to mention, I don't think I've mentioned yet, is the door here. So, like, the fact that these enemies don't do enough damage to the door to open it, which means the guy here with the energy drop who starts here, he could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but instead he comes into the middle. And depending on where you place Har, like, I mentioned, you know, placing him here versus here versus here. Not only is he likely to be surrounded here, Har is, that is, but if I put him here, even though he can't get surrounded because he's got his back to this wall, it's more likely for whatever reason that the enemies stack up in such a way that they're like that this guy is screened. Like there's an enemy, he'll still be here, but there's then an enemy here and an enemy here, and it's like, oh, I can't actually get to him. I don't really know why exactly, but yeah, so that ends up mattering. And then the door thing is like, if the guy were to move here, then I could have like Alencia kill him this turn, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kill him, and then like Kanto in here, or not even Kanto, but then I could have Har like be the one that gets chanted for or something like that, and maybe that would be a little bit easier to set up. But they don't knock down the door, despite the fact that there's a guy, this guy here has a hand axe and can finish knocking down the door, but even if Har isn't in this guy's range, he won't do it. Like if you don't move anybody down here, he'll just sit there and watch these guys try to break down this door and not finish it, and he won't help them out. It's very rude, very rude. Yeah, there's just like so many little things about this chapter. It's like insane. Another thing that came up, and this comes up during the clear if Har uses the steel axe, is that instead of shoving Leanne that extra spot, what ends up happening is that Alencia ends up here, and we drop Heather here. We chant here, which means we need one less shove, and instead of Khalil shoving, she goes over here and uses the meteor to kill, I want to say it's this guy, and it turns, no wait, it can't be this guy because he wouldn't take damage. Maybe it's like one of these guys. It turns out that like Khalil doesn't have enough damage to kill most of these guys. One annoying thing about Siege Tomes in this game is they don't get the elevation might bonus that other weapons do. So other weapons get like +2 might when you're attacking from elevation, but Siege Tomes do not. So she does 27 attack with, or she has 27 attack with the Siege Tome. So like for instance, this guy has, she would leave him at 3 HP. This guy, she'd leave him at 2 HP. This guy at 2 HP. This guy at 1 HP. She does kill this guy, but it's like trying to use that is a whole mess too. So like that's one of the ways to get an extra action in terms of like clearing an enemy out to make space to get in and do something. But again, like it ends up being tricky. Like you want Har to have the steel poleaxe equipped to deal more damage to like say this guy, so that Khalil can finish him off, except then he has the same hit rate that he does with the short axe, so that doesn't actually work. And anyway, this chapter is crazy. That's really the moral of the story. Alright, so having said all of that, let's go get our energy drop. And let's finish the chapter. I guess I don't think there's anything else we want to do. Nope. Down he goes. We even get a level up. Amazing. Now, Alencia, because she's a magic strength unit, actually gets luck instead of strength or magic. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the run, but in case that was... In case I didn't, or you forgot, there you are. Anyway, so that's 2E in 2 turns. I know that I spent a lot of time talking there relative to the amount of time I spent playing, but really, like, there's so many little things that affect the ability to do that it's like I said, I actually think the chapter is really interesting. I mean, in some ways it's very frustrating. I didn't even talk about, like, trying to like, shove Leanne forward on turn 1 and all of the ways in which I swear the chapter is designed to prevent you from doing that. Because, like, the sandbags are in the way, and the yellow units are in the way, and, like, if you use Mordecai to shove the yellow unit out of the way, then, like, you don't have anybody available to, like, rescue her when she cantos down. It's like, there's just, like, so many little things about this chapter that, and some of them, like, really seem like they're designed to thwart what I was trying to do, but fortunately was able to find a way. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time as we embark on part 3. Until then.